This time last week, I did not consider myself a fan of Jujutsu Kaisen. I may have claimed I hated it in the video title, and that's maybe a bit much, but what I'll say is I did hate that I just didn't get why the show seemed to be universally loved by everyone I know online and offline who watches anime. I watched every episode of season 1 and tried to like Jujutsu Kaisen, but it just wasn't connecting with me. I don't want to keep watching a thing that I'm not really into whenever season 2 does come around, so when I saw that Jujutsu Kaisen 0 was coming to my theater, I gave myself an ultimatum. I would use the movie as one last try to see if Jujutsu Kaisen is for me, and if I didn't like the movie, I would drop the series for good, not even try season 2. And well, I don't know what happened, but I absolutely loved Jujutsu Kaisen 0. Actually, I do know what happened, which is why I'm making this video, to talk about why the movie worked so extremely well for me. A big reason I wanted to give Jujutsu Kaisen 0 a real honest try is actually one of the main reasons I like this movie so much. It's both a canon story and prequel story to the main series, meaning this isn't a situation like the My Hero Academia movies or the original Dragon Ball Z movies that can sort of loosely insert themselves into the anime/manga timeline but are definitely afterthoughts. Because it's a prequel with a new protagonist who isn't the show's main character, it's able to deliver the protagonist a complete character arc and story that works in the confines of a 3-act film. As far as anime movies based on currently running series goes, I think Jujutsu Kaisen 0 stands on its own better than any of the others I've ever seen, honestly. This could just be a movie that exists as a one-shot story like a Ghibli or a Studio Chizu film, outside of a few small cameo scenes that are definitely there to make existing fans smile, but even still, those scenes won't really distract or confuse first-time viewers, at least I don't think they will. 0 is successful in being not just a Jujutsu Kaisen story, but also a good standalone movie, and in my experience, that is very rare. Even my favorites, movies I love like Dragon Ball Super Broly, I'd be the first to admit that's not really a standalone movie you can enjoy with no prior knowledge of Dragon Ball. 0 is the rare breed that works for first-time viewers, casual cynics like me, and diehard fans. I mentioned how the prequel setup gave us a new protagonist who is absent from Mappa's Jujutsu Kaisen anime, and how this lets Yuta have a full start to finish character arc. It also creates this great mystery where we want to know why this character isn't around in the anime in a way that kind of reminds me of what Star Wars Rogue One did, being an immediate prequel to A New Hope. We know where the story will end up, but not how we got there. And speaking of Yuta, here's where I need to give just a ridiculous amount of praise to the character, Okotsu Yuta, both in the writing and voice acting departments. Yuta is a boy who is essentially haunted for half a decade by the cursed spirit of his childhood friend, Rika, a sweet girl who in childhood he promised he would be with forever and get married to when they grow up. She fell victim to a horrible car accident, but before dying is transformed into a monstrous curse. She becomes Yuta's guardian angel, or guardian demon curse, and for as much as Rika means to Yuta, Yuta's goal in the film is to lift the curse and let Rika actually pass on instead of existing in this nightmare form perpetually. It's tragic and beautiful, and I wouldn't dare spoil where they go with the Yuta and Rika story in the movie, but I realized after leaving the theater that this type of human curse dynamic is something that was missing for me in the main anime. Obviously, Itadori has his relationship with Sukuna, but it is mainly antagonistic, at least in season 1, and it came about from like a chance occurrence of Itadori eating a cursed finger. Here, Yuta and Rika, so a human and a curse, they're connected through a shared history, love, trauma. I didn't get anything like this from season 1 of JJK, and I loved that it was here. Yuta is also voiced by Megami Ogada, who is perhaps most well known for voicing Shinji Ikari in Evangelion, and this is probably some of the most perfect voice casting I've encountered in anime. Yuta is very Shinji, but in a way that doesn't feel like, what if we put Shinji in Jujutsu Kaisen? They don't beat around the bush. Yuta has tried to hurt himself in recent years, wants to retreat from society, is unsure if he'll ever find a reason to live. It's really heavy stuff, and tonally, that's a perfect fit for the dark world of Jujutsu Kaisen. What I'm realizing now is that I do like the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, but the main characters that the first season of the anime presented are a little too anime cliche to me. They kind of feel like inserts into this world. You have the dopey but kind main kid who's possessed with an ancient spirit, edgy boy and tough but cute girl, all attending a school for gifted youngsters. I've not read the manga, and so for all I know, these characters go to really great and deep places, but what I realized is my issue with the show was that its characters felt inserted into the world to complete a checklist of anime must-haves, whereas I think Yuta and Rika are perfect fits for this world. Yuta is traumatized, anxious, uncertain of himself, all things that I believe believe a teenager would actually feel in this world. I'm trying real hard not to spoil anything outside of the trailers for folks who haven't had a chance to see the movie yet, but I will say again, I was super happy with how well this movie works as a standalone story, and yet managed to make me eager to revisit season 1 and has me super excited for what a season 2 could be. It's been a total 180 for me as someone who was literally planning on dropping Jujutsu Kaisen when season 2 came, and now wanting to dive back into the lore, read the manga chapters that cover season 1. I also want to mention that this is probably MAPPA's best production so far. It's an absolute gorgeous movie that looks even better than the already stunning series did, and this is kind of an aside, but I'm all but certain Attack on Titan will be ending with a big movie after how successful things like the Demon Slayer Mugen Train movie were, and now this movie was. So having seen what MAPPA can achieve with Jujutsu Kaisen 0, I'm also fully trusting them and excited to see what they can do for Attack on Titan with the budget and a runtime of a feature film. So to conclude, hey, I was wrong about Jujutsu Kaisen, which is great because I always say I love to be proven wrong. 0 somehow manages to be an excellent standalone film that I would legitimately call one of my favorite anime films, and still somehow has also got me interested in the world of its show to the extent that I'm going to re-experience season 1 either through a manga read or a straight up rewatch, and then I'll be counting the days until season 2. I also can't wait to rewatch this movie. If you are already a Jujutsu Kaisen fan, I have to imagine you will love this movie even more than I did, since I was coming from a place of cynicism. And hey, if you're like me and think Jujutsu Kaisen isn't as good as it's made out to be, try out this movie with an open mind and you might be blown away just like I was. Thanks for watching. I usually make Digimon videos on this channel, so if you liked this change up, please let me know by commenting so that I know to make more stuff like this. Jujutsu Kaisen fans, please don't misinterpret my praise of the movie as an attack on the main show. I'm trying to compliment your franchise here, so if I sounded rude or insulted Itadori or whatever, please cut me some slack. Peace and love, Yuta and Rika forever.